Has St. Petersburg, Florida become the new San Francisco? Well, first off, let me introduce myself. My name is Troy Funk, and it's Funk, F-U-N-K, Fun K. I am a licensed real estate broker in the state of Florida, and I've been in sales going on 40 years. My focus is to give you value, and if I give you value, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber, and certainly hit that bell so we can stay in touch. Well, today I am in San Francisco, and this is a place that's very dear to my heart. And I was actually born a couple hours away from here at the Air Force Base in Marysville, and my family and I lived in the Bay Area of San Francisco till I was about 10 years old. My father actually worked in downtown San Francisco, and as a little kid, I got to visit San Francisco quite often, especially every year. We had field trips to Alcatraz, and San Francisco has really been a fun place to live near as San Francisco has a lot of culture, a lot of art, and it's been a very interesting place, especially seeing it evolve my entire life. As I got older, I kept coming back to San Francisco and visiting, and I've seen San Francisco change a lot, evolve a lot in that time period, and I haven't been back here until the last 5 years. It's changed quite a bit in that time period. Now, what's been the biggest change? The biggest change is the population here. Now, California is shrinking. There's no secret to that. In the last year, 2022, California lost about 340,000 residents moved out of California. The state is actually decreasing in population, whereas Florida just did the opposite. We had about 320,000 people move into Florida. So in essence, about 1,000 people a day have been leaving California, and about 1,000 people a day are moving into Florida. Now, not everybody is moving from California to Florida, but we're getting a lot of people from California moving into Florida, and that's changing Florida quite a bit. And just to talk about that, why are people leaving California? Well, it gets down to one aspect, and that aspect is quality of life. Now, quality of life encompasses a lot. Number one, the taxes here in California are very high. All the taxes you normally pay, you also pay an income tax, which in Florida, we don't have income tax. So the tax situation is different. Now, being such a culturally rich area, San Francisco has historically always been one of the highest priced places to live, not only in California, but in the United States. And right now we're seeing just the opposite. We're seeing property values absolutely falling here in San Francisco. And what are the big factors why property values are falling? Well, property or values are always a factor of supply and demand. The demand to move into San Francisco is diminishing, and the supply of inventory that's not selling is causing property values to fall. So as such, property values have been falling greatly here in San Francisco. Now, Florida, where we're seeing our population increase, we're seeing just the opposite. We have seen an explosion in property values, and not all of Florida is too excited about it, especially the fact that we have so many people coming into Florida. Florida doesn't always welcome all our new friends because it's changed Florida as well. It's changed California, it's changed Florida. And what's the appeal of St. Petersburg right now? Well, St. Pete is a very culturally rich area like San Francisco, but the big issue between causing the exodus of California and the influx of people coming to Florida is all encapsulated in one concept, and that concept is just quality of life. The quality of life in Florida is really good. So what's the quality of life issue here in San Francisco? Well, I think the thing that really surprised me, and I haven't been back here for the last 5 years, and when I came here, I have never seen so much change in my whole lifetime of knowing San Francisco. I've never seen as much change as I've seen lately, and it's actually a very sad change because the homeless situation here is terrible. It's absolutely horrible. I spent all day yesterday walking around San Francisco. There were areas I definitely did not feel safe here. Let's just say that you can see people doing drugs, you see feces everywhere, you see garbage, and this is not how I remember San Francisco. and it's a beautiful place, but the quality of life here has diminished substantially. Now, as such, people are leaving, and as they leave, it's progressively changing. Now, there's a lot of stores that are boarded up, a lot of shopping's boarded up. It has a different feel. Now, I guess the plus side with that right now is coming out here was really inexpensive because flights out here were relatively inexpensive, and with the transportation you can get out here, the things that are expensive to a visitor right now are food and Uber. Gas is about $1.50 more a gallon here, and food, of course, is a factor of the cost of living here, which is really high. Found that this was a relatively inexpensive place to visit, but it's just been very different. Now, what's different is, one plus side is the traffic here is not that bad. And it's always felt like it's been bad, but not this time. But St. Pete, why is that such a beautiful place? Well, St. Pete has a lot of cultural to it as well, and there's an area in St. Pete, the main street, and part of St. Pete was really special along the waterfront area, and the other side was a little more. It needed some revitalization. Well, with all the influx of people moving into Florida right now, the areas that were kind of hood became good. And not only have they become good, but they've become very expensive. And we've seen the culture of downtown change quite a bit. Now, in this area, you know there's a lot of culture when you see vegan restaurants, and you also see the rainbow flag. And we're seeing more of that in St. Petersburg, and it's changed the diversity there quite a bit. So it's kind of hard not to talk about the colors. Now, I choose to be colorblind as much as I can because I'm in sales, I'm a broker, and I get along with everybody, but I have good friends that are a certain color and other friends that are the opposite color. And talking about colors, I'm talking about red and blue. And what does that come with the mindset? Now, it feels like we're having a civil war right now with the way people think, and our country's so divided. And obviously, California is a very blue state and has a lot of blue ideas. And Florida is mostly red. And we have a governor in Florida that people absolutely love or they absolutely hate because he is very strong red. He's actually dark red. And the governor of California is dark blue. So the whole thinking of how people think have changed. Now, as people move into Florida, they're not always welcome because a lot of Florida remembers Florida the way it used to be, and a lot of Florida doesn't welcome all this change because we've seen our population go up, our roads are more crowded now, and the quality of life in Florida has changed as a result of all our new visitors. But overall, housing is a big aspect of quality of life and what you can afford. It's been very unaffordable to live in San Francisco. Property values are coming down quite a bit because of this big exodus. Now, property values in Florida have gone up, but let's just say you're exploring the idea of buying property in Florida and you want to know what's possible. Well, as I mentioned, I'm a real estate broker. If you were to log into my website, my name, troyfunk.com, and then type in the city you're looking for example, St. Pete, and from there you hit the redefine button. It'll give you an option of how to define your search. You can create price point, and then also, do you want HOA or not HOA? And there's a venue of questions to ask to quickly define your search. From that point, when you hit search, it'll ask you to sign in. And here's the real fun part. Once you sign in, you and I can start communicating, or at least somebody on my team, with your vision on properties. And from there, you can start looking at all the properties that are for sale in our area. And if you find something you like, there's a place to put a little heart. And from there, we can communicate on what's possible on properties for sale. We know what you like. And if it's a property you want to take off the market, let us know right away. But we can start communicating with you on opportunities. Now, if you live in San Francisco, St. Pete is going to be about the closest thing that would match the culture, the vibe, if you're looking on the west coast of Florida. There's a lot to do. The beaches are amazing. The water's warm. Culturally, it's an area where there's a lot of similarities, and a lot of St. Pete is becoming more like San Francisco. So it is rich in culture, activities, lifestyle, and certainly an option if you're thinking of Florida coming from San Francisco. With that, if I've been helpful to you, again, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber, and I hope to help you on your journey coming to Florida.